and welcome to Financial Technology Frontiers. We have been having some very interesting, knowledgeable luminaries from the industry adding up to our ecosystem of aggregated advisors. And we are creating this interesting advisory framework to empower the financial services ecosystem and the fintech ecosystem to take them to the next level of growth with the experience of these aggregated advisors. With me today, I have got Arthy Kenath. She is a noted luminary and an expert from the banking and financial services with decades of experience in technology and in the business of banking and financial services, who has had a career spanning from some of the leading technology companies to banking and financial institutions like CIBC and BNY Mellon through consultants and directly, as well as with technology companies and cutting edge technologies like Simcor. So she has had this entire span, and I am here to understand from her what is exactly happening in the payments industry, in the open banking industry in Canada, and how she can actually help facilitate some of the leading financial institutions in some of the projects to take them to the next level. Arti, welcome to Financial Technology Frontiers.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you.
Great. So let me know a little bit about, how you have moved into different realms of possibilities in your career, right? From tech to banking to consulting. How has this journey been and what kind of experiences came out of it?
Thank you for having me here. I can start by saying that I am a technology person at heart and I love technology, but technology is there to cater to our goals and needs and what business needs. So I started my career in technology as a computer engineer. I did core engineering with a couple of companies, and that's also where I realized what the need for the business side is, specifically on insurance, banking. I worked on healthcare insurance and mostly financial sector, catering to the financial sector. So I continued on to do my MBA to actually realize this side for technology. So not moving completely away from technology, but still how this attributes like how technology can benefit your daily life. And moving on, I started my career in Canada in one of the big banks here, and that's where I was introduced to the world of payments and modernization specifically. And so far, I have worked with different banks as well as through consulting. And like Babu mentioned, I worked with IBM and Simcor, trying and integrating and implementing the modernization that we have been going through in Canada for a few years now.
Excellent. Now you have seen the kind of transformation that is taking place in the banking sector. I'm sure in Canadian market when you have worked with organizations work with a very heavy legacy, and there is got to be a lot more of modernization happening, and that is probably some of the projects that you have worked in your career before. And today we are talking about jumping into open banking, jumping into real-time payments. Now this is the next level of leap altogether. Bridging the legacy to this leap, what kind of interesting engagements can take place, especially from a consulting perspective with the banks as with the fintechs, because there are a lot of fintechs getting into this. What are the kind of things that you foresee?
Canada, right now, it's at a great time for financial industry, like improvement and a boom. I see a lot of it because we are just now getting into open banking and real-time payments. That is something that the world has seen, like a lot of other countries have implemented. The point is, it can bring a lot of other financial services products to Canada and Canadians for our use and our benefits in financial sector. So for example, bringing payments, real-time payments and open banking together itself opens up a multitude of new products that fintechs out there already have in place. And consumers like you or I can use it. And this is where things get exciting, like new payment products, new financial sector products that every day that can benefit your life and have a bit smoother. Like you're already there, like going from tap and pay to like your gadgets that's something we have already seen in the world. Now, for Canada specifically, having this open banking and real time come together, that would be something that I would like to see, and I would like to see on a daily basis, and how it can help and improve our lives here.
Interesting. See, Canada has been coming into open banking today. Okay, it is looking into real time. Of course, it has been already implemented in different parts of the world, be it UK, be it Australia, be it India, and there is a lot of learning that can be taken from each of these markets. The difference that Canada has today is it is having a lot of legacy and it is still scaling up. So, what are the key hurdles you see in integrating this marriage of both these technologies together and accelerating the growth of the payments or the banking industry to the next level? What are the key things that banks today need to work upon?
Great questions. I would have to say questions because there's a couple of
Yeah,
different topics involved. One is your legacy. So that's something that's totally in the background, running, processing everything today, and it still runs smoothly in many of the big banks or big FIs. And modernizing that, what's the need for it is because of the data. Nowadays what you bring in is going to be like data rich, like data is everywhere you hear it. But what does that mean for your legacy systems? That they can't process that because they don't have the capacity. They're great, like they're very robust, like they're secure. But when you need more data, more information being fed into, that's the step to modernize it. Okay, being the cloud, what does that mean for this? Like having that data move there, and you moving your processing itself is something that Canada has been modernizing, FIs have been modernizing. And then you were bringing open banking, which is basically with open banking, what you're getting is, or consumer-driven banking, I call it, is what getting to handle the data yourself, and you decide who gets to handle your data or like how it can be. Coming to that, and when we look at other countries, how they have implemented, sure, it's a great learning for Canada. We also need to look at what we have in Canada. Okay, how other countries, many countries were strictly regulatory and legislative driven. So there were no choice for fintechs or FIs but to adapt immediately, or like just like, yeah, sort of in a way might be overstepping by saying post, but they are in many places, as you know, was post. Versus in Canada, we still don't have strict regulatory or legislative guidelines. We have committee, FCAC being and the Bill 69, excuse me, C69 being
implemented, initiated.
Initiated to for the purpose of consumer-driven banking. But at the same time, you also need to look at the technology infrastructure, how you scale up when open banking or real-time payments come together. So there's already initiatives that's running for open banking as well as real-time payments. These are huge. You need resources, thereby money to implement it and to scale up. So when you have FIs who might be able to cater to this because of their financial situation, versus there might be other places where they can immediately. So you need to look at all that. So that means your timeline is going to be effective. I know everybody's on for this and they want to implement this, integrate this into their institutions as well as bring in new products. I think everybody wants that today, but the resources and the budget and everything that's needed, like security being the other factor. Like, yeah, how do you convince people? How, like, you have standards in place. Most of it is run on like the technology side, the authentication standards. But how do you convince people to say that, hey, this is an acceptable standard, your data is secure? And when you bring these things, like all of those are hurdles that we need to overcome. And education is one way to provide it. And a lot of people are already on it. We can look forward to hearing more from the regulators itself, hopefully. And yeah, in time, I see it happening. It is, but unfortunately, a matter of time.
Super. Many of the financial institutions here, which I have seen, maybe a TD Bank or a CIBC, many of them have got US operations and they are already doing open banking in any of these markets. So I think it is a question of them to probably take some of their learning to get into this Canadian market and start implementing it. So I don't think the resources may be a problem for many of these banks, and they have seen it and done it there. Of course, the regulations, the education, and the overall infrastructure is probably the kind of hurdle that is probably delaying the things further and further. There is not a single bank we have seen who have said that, hey, I don't want open banking. Okay, it seems everyone wants it, but it has not yet happened. Okay, so we are all moving towards that. Having said that, what are those key skill sets or what are those key areas where you think a lot of work needs to be done and where you can also contribute into the banking and financial sector to fast track this growth of open banking or RTR, where you think you can play a very pivotal role in each of these organizations?
If you take the legislative and the regulatory part out of it, what is left? Okay, let's say that's in place. Then it comes to like, yeah, fintechs and FIs. And I'm talking all of the FIs. We're talking about credit unions, smaller banks, all of them coming together on the same platform, okay, deciding how this goes ahead, considering there's only a guideline. This is something that has to happen. And for where I come in is I'm aware of both how modernization works, how parts fit in, basically, how your new products can fit in to an existing at the same time. What needs, if maybe a product needs a little change, customizations, what are the gaps it can bring in? What are the gaps it has and what can be fulfilled with the existing product? This is why you need a new product analysis for that. If you have a new product, how are you going to integrate it to your legacy systems? If you are keeping your legacy, or how are you going to modernize your legacy along with bringing in new products? Those are the places that I have worked quite a bit in and where I can bring my expertise. So this is both on the technology side and the product side. When it comes to products, like new products, how, like, every FI or every product or company that you want to use a new product would have something in place similar that they had. They want that flavor to it might be just through processes. So there might be some process that they have been doing for some, let's say, some particular payment processing for payment itself, which can you can correlate and collaborate with the new product team to kind of streamline it so that the ease of use is done with the product. So this happens on your technology side, how it is implemented, giving them that seamless move over from the team.
Interesting. So on one side is the technology, the other side is putting up the right kind of processes required for this. And is there anything that you would be able to do for companies which are global and want to set up base to capture the kind of wave of open banking and or RTR or the payments market in Canada? What kind of things you foresee, the kind of market readiness or the kind of advisory that you would be able to play for them?
See, one of the biggest things that I've noticed is like when you are in big institutions, often it is overlooked when there are like small gaps that actually you might actually have a product out there which fits the gap perfectly. And just because there is no awareness of that product, especially it might be from Asian markets, for example, who have already done it, like used it, and it has worked. Sometimes that awareness is not there, and when I see it in person or I am aware of things like that, I can directly say, hey, this is something that product out there that can actually work. It might not, it's not for a financial gain, but I see a problem and I can solve it with something that's already available in the market. So that is where I feel like a lot of, sometimes things are overlooked and where I can bring my expertise.
And what about for the tech companies who are looking for market readiness in this market or trying to get into the framework of the banks and things? What kind of advisory you can do there?
Sometimes in the past it has been difficult to break into FIs and like markets in Canada, but things are opening up. There are many forums and places where new products are looked at, and they do go try to test it out. So testing new products, like having like all the new product I would expect all these product companies to have a POC sort of approach. I have seen that work well rather than like anything else, because they want to see firsthand how there, like FIs or other institutions, can incorporate this and how this product can work for that. So having a open platform, test of the product works. Well, networking is the key for all of this, but I see a lot of new products out there and how FIs can utilize it. And I think most of these institutions would want products like that rather than developing themselves. If it's already out there, I don't see why not.
Interesting. And from your side, can you also advise them on getting it market ready, or the right kind of positioning for the products and things like that for the tech companies?
So market readiness, like I said, POC, having your setup for be ready to do that with your white label product, but expect it to be more than a white label because most of these, like I said, they have a certain set of uh, goals for their product already. And most of the time, not all products can satisfy it 100%. So be ready for those customized changes for your clients. These are the two things you can do. It's very simple, but having those two ready to go kind of solves most of your time issues and getting right into.
Super. Thank you very much, Arthy, for being a part of it, and we look forward to more conversations.
Thank you very much.